Warum verstehe ich auf einmal 90% meines eigenen Chats nicht mehr? Was ist hier passiert? Was habe ich, also...
Let's just watch this. I like the chats.
I think my pick is whistling. Yes, I think I flip out. Das finde ich auch schön, ja. Hi, ich bin noch da. Hallo bis Hamburg.
Oh, I'm just watching Theon Greyjoy. I mean, if I was a reboot or something, this is definitely a Theon.
Sollen wir noch mal? Wollen wir noch eins? Ja, eins geht noch. Ist das meine Kamera? Ja.
Well, he's raised soft. He was raised soft.
Oh nein.
Yeah.
Adele, bitte.
Oh, to be a prince. To be a prince and just like, lady, I am a rich. Would you like a warm bed tonight? Would you like some warm bed and some candy? I am a prince. You can come back to my kingdom someday, baby. No, I'm just kidding, because you are a peasant. Oh, Mr. Baker, I need to have your wife. You wouldn't deny a prince his princely rights, would you? Adultery. Serial adultery. I wonder who's your wingman? Who are your wingmen there, Vandersloots? Who are your wingmen? Who go to the bar with you, help you get that, oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. See, the best place to get insider information is in the bed. Under the bed sheets, that's the best way to get those little whispers of, invest in human bondage.
I did not reverse on that open, that crazy wig from the pre-market. I didn't reverse short, so I kind of waited for things to settle down. Short actually off the 162 level. We're trailed out. I kind of think if we bounce, I do want to join the trend back in here. If we're going to have that happen, we'll see. Nvidia, I'm still looking for that 69 short. Doesn't seem to want to get us no fills just yet. And then GFAI, we thought we'd get that kind of home run trade. It just trailed me out of the last of my longs, so I was able to take 2/3 of it out. Doesn't break the high today, but it's still holding pretty strong. I might look at this one. Hasn't really broken.
If you support futures, Eddie.
A couple of failures up there in front of that 19 area. I don't want to be sitting in it if that happens. Amazon, by the way, holding lows on that 100. Not really seeing it up there. For Amazon, Alibaba, no real bounce through. That 103 area kind of holding back here. 102. Either we're going long off.
Oh, see, that's cultural. That's something they say. Pop culture doesn't serve any purpose, but boy, you watch enough television over time. Get ready for those big moves.
You're up at that resistance area. This is kind of in the middle here. Give me the bounce support, or let's just break it out. You know, it's not even up on the base.
Let it go of
The
Swedish
longs
or
above 103 are perfectly fine.
See, the people who hate Christians, the people who hate Christians the most are the people who love Christ. They love the story of Christ, because Christ is rising up against Pharisees and Rome. Well, not Rome, because they're all mad he's not casting off Rome, but the Pharisees who are like obedient to the emperor. They're like, yeah, we got a new Jesus on our hands because he's 30, and then at 33 we kill him because they understand. Christians every year they go, oh, Christ died again.
When you have a stock running this aggressive, and all of a sudden it runs into a wall, that's kind of where you're like, you know what, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, that guy, he's leading. Yeah, see, that's Jesus again. He's 30 and 33. We have the book. This is the book. This is the only book you... No, you can't read the Bible, but we know your story. If you're caught with the Bible, it's death. Muslims reading the Bible is a death penalty. But we love Jesus. Well, I mean, some of actually the ones I've met, they love Jesus. But they love Muhammad even more. Peace be upon us. I don't know why, because Muslims are terrifying. Well, the ones who tell you they're Muslims and that why, because they'll tell you why you're dying, and you'll be, oh no, I have cookies in my beer. They're running into that mountain. We're going to take Idris Elba and see if he can climb a mountain.
ADD has been creeping towards that 70 mark pretty much for the last few days. And I saw this part earlier today, and I was just like,
be careful, you might fall off.
Und verabschiedet sich und du hast direkt gehört, wie sie wieder platt gesprochen hat. Das war richtig witzig. Das war sie dann so schnell wieder drin. Da hat sie noch
Leil West.
Hat sie direkt noch platt geschnackt. Das war ganz witzig. Wie schnell sie da wieder reingekommen ist.
Verbitten euch mit Prime und genießt die Worte. Wir Gaming in Holiday und ein kostenlosen Sub für einen Streamer out of the wall. Vanessa.
Das war ganz, ganz toll. So gerade, wenn man sich so vor Augen führt, früher war so,
it's a good thing you corrected all his stuff to catch his mistakes. He's just working so hard there in Colorado.
Richtig harte Kindheit, weißt du? Die hatten eine richtig, richtig, richtig harte Kindheit und uns geht's dagegen extrem gut. Und dann stellt man immer so vieles in Relation für dich.
Oh, a fetus. Yeah.
Weil es jetzt einfach eine andere Zeit
Yeah, he's having a baby. Did you get another grandkid, Dad? I told you. I told my dad that he has more than one grandkid. Because I saw it. He called me. I don't understand why. My brothers, when I was in their apartment, got a letter from his ex-girlfriend, and it showed a little picture, like a little 3-4-year-old kid, and said, because it's like, and he didn't say it outright. He said, "This is my child," because his heart broke. She left him for his friend, and then she was pregnant. His friend got her pregnant, and so or something. Yeah, she was pregnant, and she left him for. Well, she got pregnant like. She announced her pregnancy a week later. So that's how fast pregnancy happens. In a week, she was pregnant. A week. Yeah, because he was drinking all the time. Drinking all the time but if you had lived with them, you would understand. Well, they're every white boy. They're every white boy who bought drugs. Because when you buy drugs, you have an ongoing reward program with your dealer. The more drugs you buy, drug dealers have reward programs now. And boy, if you leave a drug dealer for another drug dealer, or if you compete with your drug dealer, that's the big one. Let me give you some advice, kids. When you compete with when you decide to go into that criminal game, you're taking market share away from other criminals. Yeah, you've hurt murderers' chances because people try to get reformed to do soft crime. With stealing, what's worse? Stealing or murdering a person? Because it's just like sometimes accidents happen when you're trying to steal something that's murder. But if you just want to sell some drugs on the street corner, well, this when another drug dealer moves in, he says, "I'm the drug dealer here now. You can't scare the black out of me. I'm Jamie Kennedy." This is who I be, Dad. This is who I be. Oh, I hated Mike. Oh, I didn't hate. It was just so annoying. He'd walk in and be like, "Jeff, you're not black. Why are you talking like a person in a ghetto? Do you know why are you imitating them? You understand what the ghetto is, right? Why are you making it look cool? Why are you making it look cool? Oh, you're not? No, he's not slinging. He's not acting like a teenager at 40, hanging out of schools, like giving, "Hey, you gotta try this, baby. Come with me." Oh, it's Taken movie.
Heute in VIP-Geberlaune. Ach, ich weiß nicht, irgendwie bin ich ja vorhin so drauf gekommen. Und da hatten wir das Thema hier, ne, so Hardcore-Supporter und so weiter, so Leute, die hier 24/7 da sind und so, die haben sich das ja mehr als verdient hier, ne, so einen schönen VIP-Status, also. Und einen Tag vor seinem 18. blockierst du ihn überall. Richtig. Was? 54 Monate auf Twitch am Arsch blockiert. So ein auf den.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money. But what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you. If you let my daughter go now, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't...
No daughter, no woman in here, sir. She's free to leave. The doors...
I will find you.
Well, the door's locked because I'm afraid of you coming in looking for your daughter.
Good luck.
That's terrifying, isn't it?
Der Warte eines Menschen mit psychischen Erkrankungen, da mag ich diese frühe Erklärung nicht, zumindest nicht, wenn mir jemand damit sagt,
oh, it's every woman in France. They've expanded. That's what Zakrozy said, that they're going to have forced breeding by law. People are complaining, what are we supposed to do with all the migrants? Well, they won't go. You have to breed them. You have to. We will make a new France. And if we have to have people not run away from them, we have to have them at gunpoint and make new France people that will be superior.
Das, was du hier gerade bemängelst, das sind ja absolute Luxusprobleme. Ne? Und ich finde, in solchen Situationen hilft das ganz gut, dass das um Gottes Willen nichts mit psychischen Erkrankungen am Hut hat. Das sollte uns hier hoffentlich allen klar sein. Ne? Also psychische Erkrankungen mit, ja früher hatten es die Menschen viel schlechter zu relativieren, das ist Bullshit. Ne?
Bullshit. What's bullshit is when your stepdad gets you a job driving a Coors Light truck and you drive off with a friggin' rig of Coors Light and have a party in the woods with your friends, which is a truckload of Coors Lights. Supply chain, it's the friggin' meth drivers. They just drive off with the friggin' stuff and sell it out the back. You get one of these guys to drive your rig, it just drives away. Dude, you have insurance for it, bro.
Was weiß ich muss ein bisschen mehr Versicherung zahlen oder so als vorher. Ich krieg so eine kleine Erhöhung von der Versicherung oder sowas. Dann denke ich mir ganz oft so, ey, dir geht's aber echt gut. Dass du überhaupt in der Lage bist, diese Versicherung zu bezahlen und dass du dank dieser Versicherung zum Beispiel einfach jederzeit zum Arzt gehen kannst und du wirst versorgt, bla 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 bla.
Fajita.
Weißt du, ich versuche mir immer vor Augen zu führen, dass auch wenn ich mich
we go into Chick-fil-A and have a fajita. Oh, do they have fajitas at Chick-fil-A? Oh, they do at Chili's, huh? Oh, that sizzle. To have money, to be able to go out, to take your family out and just drop like a freaking $75 and get a blooming onion or something. Oh, just oh my goodness. When was the last time you went out, took your family out with the extra $75? See, my dad used to do a lot just so we could rent a VHS. Oh, different times. You know, when we didn't own equipment, we'd just go to the store, rent it, and we'd just watch some movies. He would make his own popcorn. That was we could just. Well, he didn't really have money during the rest of the week. Well, we did, but to save up, just otherwise it would have been really sad life.
Ich nutze keinen einzigen dieser Dienste, der damit bezahlt wird.
Kai's a brand. It's not his real name. We won't dox him here. We won't dox him as the.
Also, da könnt ihr mich so drüber aufregen.
I mean, I have news articles that he appeared in, but it's injustice. That's the injustice of our systems here. Why we have to change it. I mean, so he wants to borrow people's wallets for at gunpoint, you know, as a joke. He's gonna pay it back, man. That's why we had to give him a job where he can do Cash App. That way he's nonviolent. It's nonviolent crime to take money from your Cash App. Yeah, it's nonviolent. Isn't that what we want? Nonviolent crime? So yeah, it's better for him to be in the call center and just like, you know, sometimes you'll get your Amazon products, sometimes you won't. Sometimes your bank account will lock up, and well, the numbers won't change. See, the numbers won't change.
GZ ist ja auch so ein Ding, meine Mutter meinte, ich müsste mich selber bei denen ummelden, die finden einen auch, wenn du unter einem Stein wohnen würdest, die finden dich halt wirklich.
Oh yeah, like the poster for Get Out, where the guy's eyes are just, they're red, he's crying so hard.
Wir lesen noch alle ab und zu Beiträge von der Tagesschau.
Oh, wait, anger, but he looked angry. Was he crying or angry? I couldn't tell.
Ich möchte jetzt nicht mit sachlichen Argumenten hier konfrontiert werden, das widerstrebt mir.
Well, that's in Old Testament, New Testament.
Vielen Dank für 7 Monate, du süße Maus. Hört die meine Freunde an, hier bleiben und was? Hier bleibe ich und nicht anders. Ja, ich bitte darum. Vielen Dank, du musst halt nur die Möglichkeit haben, ob wir es nutzen, sei mal dahingestellt. Frage ich mich, woher die Daten nehmen, weil das widerspricht ja eigentlich dem Datenschutz. Gute Frage. Nach deren Logik hätte ich gerne Kindergeld. Weil ich habe keine, aber das Gerät dafür ist da.
They love the idols. The American Idol, UK Idol. Yeah, it's just,
Die
they call it, I'm
Funke-Media-Gruppe
an
gehört
idol.
auch zu den
I'm a
GEZ-Kursen
brother
und die sind sehr stark,
flexing
zum
and
Beispiel auf
stuff.
Insta
Look,
und YouTube vertreten.
it's
Ja gut,
just
aber das
nice to
heißt ja nicht,
admire
dass du die
stuff.
deswegen
You see, I
konsumierst, nur weil sie
admire
irgendwo
this.
vertreten sind.
I like
Weißt
it
du?
around in my house and the freaking, yeah, I do that feng shui
Ja
stuff.
gut, auf dieser
But if I don't use the word
zahle ich
feng
doch
shui,
eh
then I'm just being
Kinderlosensteuer.
clean,
Tue ich
right?
das? Zahle ich Kinderlosensteuer?
Yeah, pictures of family. I mean, there's so many things to be idols. It
Weiß
depends.
ich nicht.
I mean, I want to get the big, because they're fighting amongst themselves too.
Zahlen alle überhaupt Steuern?
So I
Ich
want to
zahle
get, I
ziemlich
want to
viel
get, the, I
Steuer.
want to get the, I
Zahle
want to get some of the,
wesentlich mehr Steuer als
I want to get
ich
priests
sage es
together
euch,
because, well,
ganz
they wear
klipp und
priest
klar,
clothes, and we know they have priest houses. Well, we know where they are on Sabbath.
Steuern
We know where we
sind
can
der
go pick them up on
einzige Grund,
Sabbath. Because they're
aus dem ich
preaching to
irgendwann mal
flocks, and I want to
auswandern
bring them
würde.
all together
Ich
and,
revidiere,
and look at passages
Steuern
and explain.
und keine dunklen, kalten Winter mehr. Ich will keine 50 Grad das ganze Jahr
Yeah.
über. Ne? Um Gottes Willen. Ich möchte
Yeah,
nur,
if
dass
you're
es
not
nicht mehr
going to the
dunkel
right,
wird.
if you're not going to the right place
So
of
extrem.
worship, well, that
Und das
preacher,
alles so
he's
extrem
going to be very
grau ist.
upset.
Lieber
And what's a
klare
preacher? Well, they're different. You have different names and different languages.
Persönlich gucke öfter
Preacher
was in der
rhymes
ZDF
with-
oder
with,
ARD
with
Mediathek, alleine
teacher.
wegen Fußball und weil Killing
Yeah, you
Eve
get a
jetzt
room full of
kostenlos in der
people and-
ZDF-Mediathek gestreamt werden kann. Dann könnt ihr auch dann könnt ihr auch die
You get a room. You
Vergaben
stand up in a room full of
Steuern
people.
an sich sind ja was Gutes, sonst würde vieles nicht so funktionieren. Natürlich, absolut. Es ist wieder genau das gleiche Thema. Ich beschwere mich darüber, dass ich viele Steuern zahlen muss. Auf der anderen Seite geht es mir extrem gut. Ne? Also das ist wieder so ein zweischneidiges Schwert. Wie gesagt, trotzdem...
Visa.
ich
Oh
muss
yeah, show us your
ganz
visa.
ehrlich, klipp und klar
Oh,
sagen,
Visa, you overstayed
Steuern
your
und
visa?
Eben, was ich gerade sagte, wegen den wärmeren Wintern.
Yeah, yeah, that's
das
it's
wären die einzigen
flying.
Punkte, die mich jeweils dazu bewegen würden, auszuwandern. Das muss ich tatsächlich einfach sagen. Aus der Sicht eines Selbstständigen kann ich es verstehen. Es ist halt wirklich so. Weil es je nach Land, wo du wohnst, natürlich schon einen gewaltigen Unterschied macht, ob du 40% Steuern zahlst oder 4%. Das müsst ihr euch mal vorstellen, was das für ein Unterschied ist. Was das für ein Unterschied ist. Und da verstehe ich es zu 3000%, dass die ganzen Content Creator und Influencer alle ins Ausland ziehen.
5,000%,
Ich muss
that's a
es
good
klipp und klar
trade, that's
sagen.
an
Ich verstehe
investment.
es zu 100%.
Those
dass
other
die alle
guys, they're
wegziehen.
like, oh, so it goes up
Kann
and down
ich
every
nicht
day.
anders sagen.
It goes up and down, up
ist
and
so.
down.
Stellt euch mal vor, so ein Content Creator von einer gewissen Größe, die sind ja, also ab einer gewissen Größe, ne, eure liebsten Content Creator, die so die ganz großen Nummern,
Boy, I didn't eat my entire candy
die
bar.
haben schon ordentlich Kohle. Ne? Die haben
The,
schon ordentlich
the
Kohle.
not eating,
Glaub
the not
mir das
eating,
mal.
but too, it's amazing.
Und wenn du dann,
Ja.
ich überschlag jetzt nur irgendeinen Betrag, ohne
Yeah,
das
I
irgendwie
had a
zu
half
beziehen,
ounce of, I had a half
500.000 Euro
ounce
brutto
of
im Jahr machst,
espresso. And
da kannst
I'll
du
probably go
entweder
I'll probably go wander around a
40%
gallery
davon
if it's open.
abdrücken,
If I find my favorite little places open, which I doubt. I think they usually close for 2 days. It's why bother?
oder 4. Und dann überleg mal. Wie viel dir da übrig bleibt und wie lange du mit diesem Geld hinkommst. Von dem, was du dir sparst.
Ja.
Es sind nochmal Jahresgehalte. Also,
Yeah, in private
weißt du,
talk about how much they hate the crime and it's all. But
Das
then when in
ist-
public, it's like it's well,
ganz wild.
it's like Invasion of the Body
Ganz,
Snatchers.
ganz
Like, man.
Ich bezahle auch sowas von freiwillig Krankenkassen.
Well, as long
ja,
as-
das
see-
ist das
see, as long
Einzige,
as-
wo ich mich nicht
what's the
sträube,
difference
wo ich
between
sage, ey,
depression
da habe
and
ich kein
recession?
Klemmer mit, das zu
I've
zahlen.
heard
Ist zwar viel Geld, aber ey, ich zahle über 1000 Euro Krankenkasse im Monat.
See, they don't talk about houses.
Aber da habe ich
See,
keinen
what's
Klemmer
difference between
mit. Habe ich
what's
keinen
difference
Klemmer mit, weil ich mir ganz ehrlich sage, dafür weiß ich kann mit jedem Scheiß jederzeit zum Arzt gehen, einen
Well, now
Krankenwagen
homelessness can be
Anruf
euphoria, I
nicht wegen
guess,
jedem
if you
Scheiß den
stay
Krankenwagen,
high
aber wenn was
constantly.
Ernstes wäre,
But then
könnte
they
ich
people
jederzeit
notice
einen
and take you
Krankenwagen
away to
rufen,
some place
mich im
where it's
Krankenhaus
not
behandeln
fun.
lassen und so
So
weiter
the
und so fort.
euphoria just to go out
Und
and
es wäre
spend your
gedeckt.
money every
Weißt
day.
du, diese
Well,
Sicherheit, die hast
it's
du in
when-
anderen
it's
Ländern
when-
nicht. Und das
it's
ist
when
genau
your
das,
neigh-
wo wir jetzt gerade wieder
when you take your neighbor's
zum
house
Thema
and you get a
kommen.
bigger one.
Uns geht's hier echt gut. Und sich darüber zu beschweren, Versicherungsbeiträge zu bezahlen, schön und gut.
Yeah,
Dafür hast du
see, the
davon auch
movement
echt
is going to
was.
stop.
Und das solltest du zu schätzen
Because
wissen.
there's no point in actually investing in a house
Aber das
when
wissen
there's
wir alle und wir Angestellte
when
können
people
kaum
who
was von der
hate you
Steuer
just move
absetzen.
it just like within a time they move in next door.
That's the next große Thema. Es wird deine Steuern werden ja prozentual an deinem Einkommen festgemacht. Und
This has been a government program, and it's hey, good
das ist ja irgendwo so ein
intentions,
bisschen das Unfaire.
but it's
Je
also now at
größer
this point it's crossing the line where it's not working, and it's
je
working the
größer dein
opposite,
Einkommen und so
and you're
weiter,
like, what's going on?
desto
And
mehr
well,
zahlst du natürlich auch
it's
Steuern und
working the
Versicherung, bla
opposite,
bla bla.
which is good for the opposite people.
Aber gefühlt Je
And
größer
boy,
die Person, je
to
größer das
be on your
Unternehmen
hands
und so
and
weiter, desto mehr
apologizing for all
Schlupflöcher
the
tun sich
crimes that
auf,
you have no recollection of
an
ever
dem Ganzen
making.
zu sparen, weißt du?
Like, yeah, you're,
Und
oh,
ab einer
your
gewissen
ancestor did
Existenzgröße
this
ist
and
das halt
really? Oh, but I thought you said
super,
words are lies.
super unfair. Ne,
This
wenn
is
Leute
yeah,
dann sich
100
sonst
years
was für
ago with this
Schlupflöcher
picture,
graben,
like my
um
ancestor,
da einfach
like my
Millionen hin und her
ancestor.
zu schieben, die dann von der Steuer befreit werden.
Because they just know things in
Das
different
ist-
ways.
Ja. Trifft am Ende ja sowieso immer die Falschen. Ne? Da sind wir uns ja einig. Da sind wir uns ja einig.
Bullseye, that's a
Aber jetzt halt auch bei der Apotheke
Chinese
bis
too.
zu einem
That's a
gewissen
pussy
Betrag oder
boy.
nachgucken, ob man den Rest des
Bullseye
Jahres
is what they
vieles
call, like,
kostenlos
what
bei der
Chinese
Apotheke
call,
ist.
like
Höre ich jetzt so zum
BTS
ersten
army, where they
Mal.
put the little, BTS when they put little,
Das habe ich so jetzt noch nicht
when they
gehört.
put, you know, they glam up and start, like, they're very feminine. We call them metrosexuals. See, we called them metrosexuals back in the day. They probably put makeup on, like James Charles, the trans guy on YouTube. He's a trans man. He doesn't want to see. Well, he doesn't. Did they say that? He's just a woman.
Im Vergleich zu anderen Ländern wohl
He's a
bemerkt.
woman.
Das-
You know
man muss
how
mal-
that is.
muss man
They
ganz klar
need
so
to compete in
sagen,
sports and
oder?
be in women's locker rooms. Women are
Wie
hiding
gesagt, bei
from.
weitem
Well,
nicht perfekt.
see, allegedly, rumors are that some women are becoming conservative. They're having a
Man kann sich
baby
von der
and like
Zuzahlung befreien
even
lassen.
worse
1% vom
with the
Jahresbrutto
same race
ist
guy.
zumutbar für
This is some
Medikamente.
more. This is.
Aha.
We will never have unity until we have like all look the same and
Wusste ich gar nicht.
just love's love,
Ich kaufe
man.
nicht so viel Medikamente, to be honest.
And some people don't love everybody. And those people who don't love everybody, they're bad people.
Allein, dass man die Freiheit
Right?
hat, zum Arzt
If you
zu
don't
gehen
love
oder ins Krankenhaus,
everybody
ohne dass man sein ganzes
and treat
Vermögen
like
gibt, da
if
muss
you
ja-
don't treat people getting off the boat friggin' with looking for food the same as you treat your own children. In fact, you better treat them better because your children will be like they're danger them. Your children eating is the reason they don't have any food in Zimbabwe.
Fünfstelliger Betrag, den die da kriegen.
Yeah, that's because you have children
so
1,000
heavy,
miles away.
weil
That's
sie
why
ein
they're
Kind
starving. Not
austragen,
because they
für das du
can't.
im
Not because like
Normalfall in ein
taking the time to
Krankenhaus
plant
musst.
and what wait crops.
Das
If you have
ist
somebody with no temper, yeah.
ganz wild. Ganz, ganz, ganz wild. Und auch so lebensnotwendige Dinge wie Insulin und so einen ganzen Scheiß. Weil, also
Ja.
es ist, boah. Du kannst
I
nur
challenge
die
you to
Leute
Humgen.
zusammenschlagen, es ist so.
I challenge you to Humgen. You have a nice. I like your farm.
Bei einer normalen
See?
Geburt in Amerika.
See, Peter.
Eben.
Peter. I've been away a long time raiding, and I have not been doing the rapes. I know I'm a bad Viking. I do not rape the way the other Vikings do. I'm just different. But Peter, I really admire your wife. You know, I mean, your farm and your wife, and I really like all the things. And Olin, I want to challenge him. I challenge you to Humgen. You can have. See, I'm not like Oblad. I'm not like cousin Oblad, who had nothing. I have some things here for you. You have a room. You can, if you win, you can have all of my things.
Das versucht haben, wieder Öl zu malen. Da haben wir sehr, sehr schlechte Laune und ich habe ein bisschen die Befürchtung, dass das zu dolle bei euch rüberkam und da möchte ich mich für entschuldigen. Weil es
You
nicht
in my
meine
kingdom.
Art
You can
ist,
have
schlechte
you can
Laune
have my
auszuleben,
kingdom
weil
that I have
das
conquered
möchte
the
ich
world
nicht, weil ich möchte,
for.
dass das hier immer eine Unterhaltungsplattform ist und ich möchte
Oh no,
nicht,
we have failed. I did
mit
not know.
meiner
We just
schlechten Laune
we were just
konfrontiert
going out. We were
werdet,
just going out. They
ich,
said go
ob
raiding,
ich
and
geschissen kriege. Das war bei mir, ja,
no, I have no problem with my wife raping all these monks. I think her
ja,
collection of
dann möchte ich nicht, dass
penises,
ihr das
necklaces
hier
is very
macht.
very
Deswegen an der
nice.
Stelle noch mal ein kleines dickes Lob von mir.
Ah,
Ja.
I do not
Deswegen
control
ist das VOD
Freya.
nicht mehr da, wollte nachschauen, habe ich
Freya
nicht mehr
makes
gefunden.
her
Es
own
gab kein VOD,
decisions.
es gab keinen Stream, ich weiß nicht, wovon du redest. Nö, da gab's da, gar nichts. Wer sind Sie?
Yeah, he's got to stop. I like you responding to your master so quickly. Is that Uncle? Is that step Uncle Heimgen? Is that the multicultural Norse god?
Oh Gott, Hilfe.
Yeah, that's a multicultural Norse god, the way it really is, huh? The way they really look, huh?
Eine Pflaume, warum eine Pflaume essen? Jeder hat mal einen schlechten Tag, kannst du immer happy vor der Kenntnis. Naja, ich hatte ja keinen schlechten Tag.
Is that how you know it is Uncle Heimek?
Und jetzt krieg ich Schluck
Uncle
auf.
Heimek. I do not know the entire pantheon. Do you know the entire pantheon of the Norse gods? Starting with where the Essers came from. The sky gods and the earth gods. And the titans. Have you gone with Thor to race the Titan witches yet? They are giants.
Ich denke gerade.
No.
Bist du ein Mystikmodel?
There's a reaction video, yes. Reaction video on Twitch. Well, I'm going to stop streaming this because that is piggybacking and taking the views and away from and Twitch and could possibly harm his. I do not want to harm cousin Chris's. I don't want to harm your brother, Jeff. I know you knew a better brother than me, but it is the way it is. What is on here today? Project Good. Oh. 3 books. Is this a no one? I will go back here again. The blue book. We are 6. Yuletide, the survey, volume 30. Oh, so many. Wait, I'm gonna stop talking like that. It's probably bad anyway. Bad, horrible. Life travel exploits frauds and robberies. And non-stop stowaway. Now Persia pushing that. Well, they. We now say okay. These are just a little first printing. I just want to peruse this. To Anne Darlington. Now she is 7, and because she is so special. When you are reciting poetry, which is a thing we never do, you find sometimes, just as you are beginning, that Uncle John is still telling Aunt Rose that if he can't find his spectacles, he won't be able to hear properly. And does she know where they are? And by the time everybody has stopped looking for them, you are at the last verse. In another minute, they will be saying, thank you, without really know what it is all about. So next time, you are more careful. And just before you begin to say, very loudly, which means, now then, here we are. And everybody stops talking and looks at you, which is what you want. So then you get it in the way of saying it whenever you are asked to recite, and sometimes it is just as well, and sometimes it isn't. And by you find yourself saying it without thinking. Well, this is a bit which I am writing now called Introduction, is really of the book. Wow. I guess literate people knew how to spell this or read it. Well, most people, when people come over this country, I think immigrants usually speak about. Well, I think it's natural throughout a lot of places where your people, your neighbors, your traders, they speak other languages. A lot of people learn other languages just in other parts of the world. That's what I found. They aren't literate. They don't read. Well, they have. Well, each language has its own alphabet, and since they just learn by talking to people enough to basic stuff, people know how to pronounce things or something, or maybe they mispronounce it. But well, it's funny. The more literate, the more educated and literate in English someone is, it takes time. It takes time. So, oh, I still have a charger, huh? am I doing? It's the day after. Well, apparently we have another Thanksgiving next week, so. Oh well. I like the community building that they have down the road. But boy, it's like just. Just having a dude just his motivational speech. Or not motivational, not to say there's some good music and these things, and it's all about peace and love and turning the other cheek. And boy, he bought the ministry from the other guy, or took it over. It's the other preacher left, like the one last year. I guess he's gone. I just walked in for a brief period. A lot of times, you go in and you hear one preacher in a pulpit and you get motivated or something. I'm going to come back, and it's another one. They have a disagreement about interpretation, so even the building, it just changes. Yeah. But these ones are in suit. They're not suits. They're just casual dresses, casual fare. Oh. Yeah. Oh, better plug this thing in. I'm doubling up streaming. I'm sure it's like when you look at how data works. Fortunately, I'm not. These isn't for monetization, so I don't take priority in bandwidth. Otherwise, the IPs. Well, yeah, internet provider, IP, huh? Internet provider. So the work that you send over an IP, it's intellectual property right, and you have to pay the IP for get your intellectual property right back. See, I'm streaming this over an IP, and it's a router with a name. So whoever, whatever, OBS and these developers, well, they gotta get some lawyers, because they're going after they're gonna fight for their rights against people who've been doing this longer. If you use a toll road to deliver goods back, to go make money for yourself, see, that's a ticket. Well, if I use a toll road, toll roads versus taxpayer financed roads. Well, somebody was complaining about a dirt road, Amy. Like, this is a dirt road in a video game, a dirt road, and why is this dirt road dirt? And he's like, well, you gonna pay money to have it paved? Somebody is, and whoever pays to have that road paved, well, the pavement belongs to them. Underneath may belong to whoever, but if you're asked and you put it down, go take it back. Somebody has to maintain your road. Somebody has to do a lot of things for you, princess. And there's a lot of people all throughout the world who seem to be wanting things done for them. And boy, oh boy, promises these queens make. Well, they don't. I don't know how queens operate. They just seem that they smile. It's nice when you're in company because it's all very peaceful and quiet until the queen it's that Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. She's screaming for everybody's heads to be cut off. And being a passive, accidental. Well, you find yourself in the royal court. It's like, oh, what's this thing here? Well, that's a jack card. What's a jack do? Well, Queen's quite upset. She wants heads cut off, Jack. Guess what the Jack does? When Queen Amy says she wants her heads cut off, I mean, the Queen of Hearts wants her heads cut off. Well, why would you take that job if you aren't willing to cut a head off or cut or two off? Well, I mean, that's why the Norsemen. That's whatever her name is. She sometimes she has to sacrifice slaves until her husband comes home, because You know, there's a science behind it. It's not an exact science, but when your men are just away too long on raiding, because you never know if you don't have a cell phone and television and your men sail away to go do raiding and bring back whatever they can, whatever. If people have nice things, just go along the coast and just check it out. Yeah, sometimes you have to go for other reasons. Like, there's rumors that there are these new people, or they're tearing down all the they're tearing down all the shrines, all the wooden sacred sites where the fairies live and the little folk, and where we give offerings to our ancestors. And apparently they have it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Pooh wants to say that he thought it was a different book, and he hopes you won't mind, but he walked through it one day, looking for his friend Piglet, and sat down on some pages by mistake. What? Is this part of the Winnie the Pooh stuff? Huh. I have a house where I go when there's too many people. I have a house where I go where no one can be. I have a house where I go where nobody ever says no, where no one says anything, so there is no one but me. King John's Christmas. King John was not a good man. He had his little ways, and sometimes no one spoke to him. For days and days, and men who came across him when walking in the town gave him a supercilious stare, or passed with noses in the air, and bad King John stood dumbly there, blushing beneath his crown. King John was not a good man, and no good friends had he. He stayed in every afternoon, but no one came to tea, and round about December the cards upon his shelf, which wished him lots of Christmas cheer and fortune in the coming year, were never from his near and dear, but only from himself. King John was not a good man, yet he had his hopes and fears. They give him no present now for years and years and years, but every year at Christmas, while minstrels stood about, collecting tribute from the young for all the songs they might have sung, he stole away upstairs and hung a hopeful stocking out. King John was not a good man. He lived his life aloof. Alone he thought a message out while climbing up the roof. He wrote it down and propped it against the chimney stack. To all and sundry, near and far, Christmas in particular, and signed it not Johannes R., but very humbly Jack. I want some crackers, and I want some candy. I think a box of chocolates would come in handy. I don't mind oranges, I do like nuts, and I should like a pocket knife that really cuts. And oh, Father Christmas, if you love me at all, bring me a big red India rubber ball. King John was not a good man. He wrote this message out, and gat him to his room again, descending by the spout. And all that night he lay there, a prey to hopes and fears. I think that's him a-coming now. Anxiety bedewed his brow. He'll bring one present anyhow, the first I've had for years. Forget about the crackers and forget about the candy. I'm sure a box of chocolates would never come in handy. I don't like oranges, I don't want nuts, and I have a good pocket knife that almost cuts. But oh, Father Christmas, if you love me at all, bring me a big red India rubber ball. King John was not a good man. Next morning when the sun rose up to tell a waiting world that Christmas had begun, and people seized their stockings and opened them with glee, and crackers, toys, and games appeared, and lips with sticky sweets were smeared, King John said grimly, as I feared, nothing again for me. I did want crackers, and I did want candy. I know a box of chocolates would come in handy. I do love oranges. I did want nuts. I haven't got a pocket knife, not one that cuts. And oh, if Father Christmas had loved me at all, he would have brought a big red India rubber ball. King John stood by the window and frowned to see below the happy bands of boys and girls all playing in the snow. A while he stood there watching and envying them all. And when though the window big and red, there hurled by his royal head and bounced and fell upon the bed an India rubber ball. And oh, Father Christmas, my blessings on you fall, for bringing him a big red India rubber ball. Yeah, that's definitely not me, boy. But boy, the when we had team sport, I was not what you'd call athletic in high school by any means. Not athletic at all. And boy, oh boy, so I would be last. I'd be one of the last. I'd be picking teams, and you're like, I'd be like the second and last one with like some. I wasn't always the last one, but just sweating. It's like nobody wants me on their team. It's like, no, nobody wants you on your. It's like you're just not that good in dodgeball. So, and anyway, one day I end up doing really good. Good as far as like being like the last person on my team. It was me against a girl. Imagine the psychological thing of being like a man who's bigger and stronger than girls, and you looking at like she was in all the sports, and I'm like throw my little weak thing at her, and it's like bounce it, and she has this ball, and I'm just like sitting there, and like go cheering me because she's a girl, and I'm like, oh no, and she's like. And you see her eyes, and she's like, boom. Oh, see, this is fun. There's a dodgeball movie, but I don't want to. The staff, yay! Cosmo! Yeah! Growing a toothache plant. Is that the what really got me angry about like people? But I read a thing about the kid died from toothache. Like it just you couldn't see a dentist and stuff, and that's a real thing that could happen. It was in the newspaper and everything. They said, or it was like an online news thing, or maybe it was in the news. It's just how poverty it was out in New York. Just couldn't even see dentists. The kid had just such a horrible toothache and he died. Well, if you've ever had an infected tooth, I knew a guy who drank a bottle of whiskey and pulled it out with a pair of pliers. Not me, but... When you're poor, you're poor. Decisions. Decisions, Dr. Lily. I know, you're a very valuable, skilled person, but it takes money. Yeah, you my guy. Pat Murphy Pat Murphy just want to teach kids how to play baseball. Yeah. Yeah. Man, this staff, they play hard. Wait, is that guy crossing the line? Are you allowed to cross the line? I guess, I forget. There are certain rules to it. I have to look at the dodgeball rules. Get closer. There ain't no referees. People don't go pay to see the referees. They pay to see the players play. And that's why these games for fun. It's just these were actually fun. It's fun to get out of classroom. I do remember being. This school system is different than other people's school systems. Like, very much different. See, in most of the schools, if they were given to school at all, it would be like the church school. Yeah, the preacher and teacher would be like very similar. They'd be like almost the same thing. But our schools are separate from it. See, all these kids go to different churches. This is what people don't understand about the system, but why it's so great. All these children have a different faith. They have different foods they're allowed to eat, different days they can take off, Friday, having kids go to school on Friday, that's somebody's Sabbath. So we're still on a Monday through Friday legacy German industrial school system, and so they get off Saturday, and then like Saturday and Sunday, since we're a Judeo-Christian country, we would get like Saturday and Sunday off so that the people could go to their own. They could go to church. So, I mean, I 3-day weekend, that's just more daycare. Wonderful. Unless we just raise wages, but then are we allowed to shop with 3 days without like anybody going to work? They call them bullshit? Man, look at freaking. This is like one of those rugby players. They break jaws and stuff. It's a good thing this is just dodgeball. See that strength? Oh. You know the staff is on. The staff is on today. Is that? What is she, 10? Oh. Okay, well they're doing naughty words and stuff. Evergreen Middle School staff versus 8th grade dodgeball, May 21st, 2021. Yeah. Oh wait, it wasn't my brother's birthday. I said May 5th, May 20th. Yeah, I got a thing wrong. See, as time goes on, we don't celebrate birthdays. I kind of forget when people's birthdays are. Oh well. Oh, well. I think I'm a muffin man. I haven't got a bell. I haven't got the muffin things that muffin people sell. Perhaps I'm a postman. No, I think I'm a tram. I'm feeling rather funny, and I don't know what I am. Roundabout and roundabout and roundabout I go, all round the table, a table in the nursery, roundabout and roundabout and roundabout I go. I think I'm a traveler escaping from a bear. I think I'm an elephant behind another elephant who isn't really there. And so roundabout and roundabout and roundabout and roundabout and roundabout and roundabout I go. And I think I'm a ticket man who's selling tickets, please. I think I'm a doctor who's visiting a sneeze. Perhaps I'm just a nanny who's walking with a pram. I'm feeling rather funny and I don't know what I am. But roundabout and roundabout and roundabout I go, all around the table in the nursery, roundabout and roundabout and roundabout I go. I think I'm a puppy, so I'm hanging out my tongue. I think I'm a camel who is looking for a camel who is looking for a camel who is looking for its young. So roundabout and roundabout and roundabout and roundabout I go. Oh, see, I missed 2 lines. I think that's how Ren felt when he was trying to Louis, 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 Louis. Wait, it's 10 times. Because he write it down. He's like, how many times do I say it? 10. And then when he was like listening to record, he's like, he doesn't do it 10 times. Memorization. Louis, 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 Louis. Roundabout, 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 and roundabout, and roundabout I go. Where we go, it's looking for the mistletoe. Traditions, oh, what do they know? When under that mistletoe, Mrs. Elf does go. But that's not Mr. Elf, who's that in the shadows? That looks like Mr. Mikey, the monkey with the bell and the cymbals. Where does he go? Roundabout, 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 Brady goes, looking for the secret magic of the AI super blow. Oh, the white Christmas snow fell gently on our heads, and we forgot to cry for our dear dead. Where did Father go when we turned him out? He said a naughty word, and that mustn't be about. Mrs. Santa doesn't like kids getting coal. That hurts their feeling, you really ought to know. All kids are equal, and those lists really need to burn, because saying one's naughty and should be put in an urn, why, that's really hateful. And Ebenezer Scrooge, why you give Bob Crackit 1 coal when he could use 2? Oh, Tiny Tim remembers that really mean old man. He's gonna get his vengeance. Chuck will never stand. I know, it's just, if I wrote it down, it's to tidy it up a bit. Christopher Robin had weasels and sneezels and bundled him into his bed. They gave him what goes with a cold in the nose and some more for a cold in the head. They wondered if wheezes could turn into measles, if sneezes would turn into mumps. They examined his chest for a rash and the rest of his body for swelling and lumps. They sent for some doctors at Sneezels and Weasels to tell them what ought to be done. That's interesting. So they're talking about mumps, because we have measles, mumps, and rubella. Where's rubella? See, if you sneeze, it could turn into something worse. And so what are the symptoms? Well, with a cold in the nose, so it starts if you start sneezing, you have like sniffles and it blocks up. Well, it gets, it happens in a cold when we're confined, so their head hurts, it stuffs up. Adults would know what congestion is if they're exposed to unclean environments. So turn into measles. Measles are like, okay, and they wonder for some reason cold to measles, if sneezels, which are, so mumps, and do they happen at the same time, or they look similar? See, the symptoms of it beginning are the same, but the measles. You know what? It could turn into measles. I don't know what measles look like when they're actually. These are measles, but mumps. So, swelling and lumps. Yeah, I have a lump by my groin, right above my. Ooh, it's been there for a long, long time. But that could be a hernia. My body is kind of asymmetric. The deal with me is I just work on my symmetry. It's like the unbalanced humors, and well, they sent it for some doctors, if measles and weasels, to tell them what ought to be done. All sorts and conditions of famous physicians came hurrying round at a run. They all made a note of the state of his throat. They asked if he suffered from thirst. They asked if the sneezels came after the weasels, or if the first sneasel came first. They said, if you teasel a sneasel or weasel, a measle may easily grow. But humor or pleasel, the weasel or sneasel, the measle will certainly go. But humor or pleasel, the measle may certainly go. So the cure was humor. We have to look what that is. They expounded the reasons for sneezels and weasels, the manner of measles when new. They said, if he freezels in droughts and in breezels, then physeasels may even ensue. Oh, physeasels. So if you're freezing and drought, so if you're cold, if you're freezing and you're getting colds, well, if you're cold, I mean, little children's bodies. And so, I imagine, yeah, but little kids being cold and sniffing and